Emily's eyes burned as she stared at the textbook in front of her, the letters blurring together as her exhaustion crept deeper into her bones. The hours of studying had long worn her down, but she refused to stop. It was the night before her biology final, and she had to push through. The dorm room was silent, save for the quiet hum of the fluorescent light overhead. She yawned, rubbing her eyes, then glanced at the clock, 3:15 a.m. A wave of dread settled over her. The room felt unnervingly still, as if the world outside had paused. Emily shook her head, trying to clear the fog. Just a few more pages, she muttered to herself, but her voice barely broke the thick quiet. Her eyelids fluttered, and in the blink of an eye, she was asleep. She awoke suddenly, her body frozen in place. Panic surged through her as she tried to move, but her limbs refused to respond. The suffocating weight of sleep paralysis gripped her chest, her breath shallow, caught somewhere between the waking world and a dream. Something stirred in the corner of the room. The shadows twisted, unnaturally long and shifting. Emily's breath caught in her throat. She couldn't see it, but she felt it. A presence, cold and heavy, watching her. The air grew colder, and a sudden chill brushed her forehead. A figure emerged from the darkness, a shape, distorted and grotesque, towering above her. Its outline shifted, never fully solid, but unmistakably human. Its eyes were empty, pits of nothingness, yet they seemed to see her. The figure's hand reached out, cold fingers grazing her skin. Emily's body jerked as if she could move, but it was no use. She was still trapped. "You're mine," a whisper slithered through her mind, impossibly close. The words scraped her thoughts, leaving a lingering, metallic taste. Then, as quickly as it had come, the figure was gone. Emily gasped, the paralysis lifting in an instant. She bolted upright, heart hammering in her chest, but the room was empty, bathed in the same cold, indifferent light. Was that real? Emily whispered, her voice trembling. The next night, Emily sat at her desk, eyes glazed over from hours of studying. Her mind was foggy, thoughts slipping away like water through her fingers. It had been the same routine for the past few days, study, sleep, and repeat. But tonight felt different. The shadows in the room seemed deeper, more oppressive, like the walls themselves were closing in. She glanced at the clock, 2:45 a.m. She was too tired to care. Just 10 more minutes, she whispered to herself, though she knew the minute hand would drift far past that. Exhaustion pulled at her, and soon, her head rested against the cool desk. Her eyes fluttered shut. This time, the paralysis came faster. Her body locked in place as she awoke to an all-too-familiar sensation. The air was heavy, thick with an unnatural cold that settled deep in her chest. Emily's heart raced, her breath shallow. She tried to move, to scream, but nothing happened. From the corner of the room, she heard it, the sound of something shifting. The shadow began to form again, moving in slow, deliberate strides toward her bed. It wasn't just a figure now, it was a presence. A twisted, hulking mass that swirled like smoke, yet its movements were sharp, jagged, like a predator honing in on its prey. "You shouldn't have ignored me," the whisper came again, as cold as the ice in her veins. This time, the voice was clearer, louder. It was a sound that scraped across her skin, digging into her soul. Emily fought against the paralysis, her chest tightening. "No," she whispered, forcing the words out. "Please, not again." The figure stopped, hovering at the foot of her bed, its shape flickering like a broken screen. Its eyes, hollow, bottomless, locked onto hers. There was no pity in them, only hunger. It reached toward her, its fingers like claws, brushing against the bed's edge. This time, Emily didn't wait for the inevitable. With every ounce of willpower, she screamed. The sound shattered the silence, and suddenly, the weight lifted. Her body moved. She gasped, sitting up, her chest heaving with each breath. The room was empty. But she knew, it was still there. Emily couldn't sleep. The terror of the past few nights had left her too wired, too scared to close her eyes. Every time she closed them, the darkness crept in, and she could feel it, the cold, the weight of something just beyond the edge of her vision, watching, waiting. It was nearing 3 a.m. again, and she had reached her breaking point. The biology final wasn't the only thing she was battling now. She was fighting for her sanity. The hallucinations, the whispers, the figure, it was all too much. She sat on her bed, her mind racing. It's real, she thought. It's real, and I can't keep pretending it's not. A cold breeze swept through the room, and Emily's skin prickled. Her heart pounded in her chest, a familiar dread taking root. She had no choice but to face it. She couldn't run anymore. The room went still. She could feel it. She could feel it again, the presence. The entity. It was back. The shadow formed in the corner of her room, just as it had before, moving like liquid darkness. Her pulse raced, but this time, she didn't fight the paralysis. She let it come. She had to face this. You want me, she whispered, her voice raw but determined. Come for me then. The figure shifted, slowly becoming more distinct. A hulking silhouette with eyes that seemed to tear through her. She could hear the whispers now, but this time they were louder, more malicious. You think you can escape? The voice rasped, colder than ice. Emily's hands clenched into fists, and her voice cut through the terror. I'm not afraid of you anymore. The figure stepped forward, its cold breath brushing her face. The weight in the room grew unbearable, like 1,000 hands pressing against her skin. The whispers filled her mind, drowning her in darkness. But she wasn't moving. She wasn't giving in. With every ounce of courage, Emily fought through the paralysis, pushing against the fear. Her body trembled, but she screamed, loud, fierce. Her voice was stronger than the shadows, stronger than the whispers. The figure faltered, its form distorting. I'm not yours, she gasped, her breath ragged. The figure screeched, vanishing into the darkness, its grip gone. Emily collapsed back on her bed, gasping for air, the silence deafening. Was it over? She didn't know. But the room was empty, for now.